Okay, so apparently the servers are working well enough to at least load into a game. So I'm going to do the primer now and hope that the servers, which are completely broken at the moment, manage to stay up and working long enough for me to pull it off. All right. So this will get the next short video will explain everything you're about to see here. I'm just going to basically list it. This first slot is your Warframe. That's the thingy, the big picture you're seeing. You can pick amongst them like this, and then you can upgrade them with mods using this. The mods would be on the right, and the ones you would... Sorry, these are your mods here. The equipped mods are on the right over here where you can see the cursor. I'm not going to go through this explanation because I'll talk about it all later. This is your main weapon here. This is your secondary weapon here. That's your pistol. That's your melee weapon. I'll open up that one just so you can get a look at some of the melee weapons. You can get dual weapons and that kind of thing. And these are the 3 weapons you carry around with you, and you would upgrade them with mods, same way you would with the Warframe. And this is where your Sentinel would go. I unequipped that because I'm about to do a low-level mission, and it's a bit pointless to do that with a Sentinel, but Sentinels are basically just little robots that fly around and shoot stuff for you. They can be very useful. All of that will be explained in the second video, in some form of sensible detail. That's just sort of a loose overview of where you would put your stuff. So we're just going to pop into Mercury. And now that I've remembered to set it on private so that I'm not wasting my time, I will demonstrate just the basics of gameplay and parkour, which should hopefully only take a couple of minutes because there's really not that much to it. What the heck is crossing snakes? Oh yeah, this is all new to me. This is all update 13 something or other, Melee 2.0. Man, am I getting frame rate issues. I'd have to say Warframe really didn't work as well after these updates. It's been just jerky and buggy and not working properly every time I've tried to load in today. So with your right mouse thingy, or however you end up configuring it, you would just aim in and shoot as normal. You can switch to your secondary, which will generally be a weaker weapon, but will automatically be equipped whenever you're down and need rescuing. And you don't need to switch to your melee weapon. That is done using a different attack button entirely. You can see my melee weapon in action there. You used to be able to hold it down for a charge attack, and you'll notice I didn't do a charge attack there, or a held attack. Those don't exist anymore. I have no idea what they've been replaced with. I have no idea how melee works now. I haven't actually played this in a few weeks. But unless they've dramatically changed parkour, this is how you move around. You walk, you run, and occasionally slide. So your crouch button, which will keep you down and behind cover if you need to. Don't bother playing this way, you don't need cover in this game. The main use of this button here, which would normally make you crouch, really isn't to crawl around on the ground like I'm doing. It's so that you can do that trick. Sliding along on the ground. You might wonder, why would you want to bother doing that? Well, I'm going to sprint around in a giant circle here and show you why. Here's me just sprinting around in a giant circle. You'll notice that on the top I have a green bar that's slowly depleting. As I run around this circle, I just got around it once. I'll probably get around it a second time before I basically have to stop. So I'm back to my starting point, and I'm exhausted. I've run out of stamina. So, here's how you get around that, using the slide button. Run, slide. Notice my speed went up? Oh, okay. Or just completely screw it up. Notice my speed went up briefly while I was sliding? I'm actually moving faster than I was. You see how much faster I completed the circuit just there? When I wasn't screwing up, I mean? You'll notice I'm actually getting around these little, like, bits faster than I used to. It's because the slide increases your speed. Notice something else? Have you noticed I still have pretty much all of my stamina? Well, that's because every time you slide, you actually recover your stamina instead of losing it. So this is basically a way you can, what is that phrase? Clever use of game mechanics? This is how you basically ignore stamina. For everything except for melee. You'll notice that melee also reduces my stamina. You can see the green bar going down there. That blue bar is my shields, the red bar is my health. You'll notice the blue bar number is bigger than the red number. If I had more health than shields, those would be reversed. Or, not reversed, but the red number would be higher. Shields recover. That should sound familiar to Mass Effect players. Health does not. Also should sound familiar to Mass Effect players. So you definitely want to avoid taking health damage as much as you can. And parkour, which is the last ingredient in basic moving around gameplay that I wanted to show. Happens in a few different forms. Your basic wall running would work like this. Your space bar is your jump button. So you can notice that I can do this, for example. Sprint, then jump, and slide. Which is kind of a neat little trick. Let's do that again a couple of times so you can get the idea for it. That'll extend the range of your jump when you do that. If you don't bother to jump, you'll notice I just kind of land back down and do a roll. Now, what happens if I throw a wall into the equation when I do this? You'll see in just a moment. Bing! Oh, look at me! Apparently I'm giant and slow, but still fast enough to defy gravity. That is, and I will basically call it out, spacebar, spacebar, hold spacebar, hold spacebar, release spacebar, hold spacebar, hold spacebar, release spacebar. You see how that works? So let's say I want to go climbing up a very tall surface. I don't happen to have one around, so I'll show that later. Let's say I want to jump more than once from one wall to another. Spacebar, hold spacebar. Jump, hold spacebar. Jump, hold spacebar. Well, it would have worked again if I hadn't screwed it up. So you press once and then release, and then press again to clutch onto the wall and hold it. I'm not 100% sure you still need to do that. Somebody told me they simplified this. Maybe you only need to press it once and then hold it. Ah ha ha! You only have to press it once and hold it. Ignore the part where I said you release it and then press it again. That works, but you don't have to do it anymore. You can just press once and hold it, and then every time you want to jump off the wall, you will just release your spacebar. Hopefully without screwing it up like I did. And you can, oh yeah, so let's say you want to climb up a tall wall. I'm going to go find a wall so I can finish off this tutorial quickly, because really jumping up a tall wall is the last thing that I need to tell you about. By which I mean it is the final thing I need to tell you about. After that, we're going to go and explain how all those silly mods and everything work. So I'm just going to kill this guy, because he annoys me. I don't know. Oh, he's alive. That's right, because I'm using all level 1 guns and stuff. I kind of forgot about that. Alright, this looks like a taller room, but still not quite what I'm looking for. So I got to use my little trick I just told you about zooming through, and that door doesn't open because I'm not paying attention to the map. I'll talk about the map. You notice the little red X? That's telling you where to go, by the way. That's your mission waypoint. It's kind of like a square. There's a little white dot on the top of it that says up. The hint that that's giving me is you should be going up this way. It's above you, dummy. So it turned out it was above me. Once I found that it was above me and I did that thing you just saw, jumping up the wall, now it's it doesn't have the red. Actually, the white dot's below it, saying, hey, you're now above it, dummy. Go down a little. So I go down this ramp, and you can kind of see how you can use that little white dot. Now it's telling me it's below me again, so I know I'm going to have to go down this ramp and follow around this corner. So that's how you basically follow that mission waypoint marker, which I suppose would be something else that's worth mentioning. And lastly, when you want to go climbing up a wall, you just do the same thing I mentioned. Okay. Apparently you need a different wall than this. Oh, you don't die if you fall off the edge. That's something you probably want to know too.
Expect heavy resistance.
Alright, I should have grabbed a different map, something that had a tall room on it or something like that. Because this one, obviously, I'm not going to be able to really run up the wall and demonstrate the way I want to. Ideally, I would find something that would let me run up. Maybe I'll be able to cheat my way across like this. Sometimes you can do this. You kind of cheat your way across the map. Leap! Oh! They wouldn't let me cheat. But they might let me run up the side of some... I don't know. It's just a rock wall, man. Let me go up it so I can finish my silly tutorial without having to start over. That would be nice. The point I'm trying to make... Here we go! Finally! Oh, until then. Alright. I can hold it and slowly slide down. This is what I'm trying to show. And I can look around. As long as I keep holding the space bar, I will very, very slowly slide down when I do that. That's all I wanted to do. So here, you see me doing it again. I'm just going to slowly... I can look around. So when you end up with a tricky parkour thing, you can grab the wall, look for where you need to jump left, release space bar, and then grab wherever you need to jump. That's the tutorial. I might try and cut out the part where I run around aimlessly for a couple of minutes there, but that's basically all you need to know for movement and running and jumping and all of that jazz. From there, it's just basically shoot, stab, and follow the person who looks like they know what they're doing.